One of the biggest problems about being a video gamer is the constant push from certain groups out there that video games cause violence, that video games are the reason why we have so many horrible things in the world. Never mind the fact that we had many horrible things before video games, right? I mean, like, video games might be violent, but did they cause the Holocaust? No. Did Hitler roll around in GTA Online and be like, time to exterminate the Jews? No, of course not. He just was a mass murdering fuckhead. Video games don't bring that, they don't bring that out of people, as evidenced here by this new study that says after 2 months of daily Grand Theft Auto, says no significant changes in behavior. So studies are trying to say, like, video games cause violence. You see that brought up. Trump said a little bit about that the last couple of weeks. And now we're finding out that Grand Theft Auto, the most violent of video games, according to some people, doesn't have any changes or doesn't cause any changes in anyone's behavior. Now, it says here, a new longer-term study of video game play from the Max Planck Institute of Human Development in Germany's University Clinic Hamburg-Eppendorf, recently published in Molecular Psychiatry, found that adults showed no significant changes on a wide variety of behavioral measures after 2 straight months of playing daily violent video games. Most scientific studies on the effects of violent video games measure participants right after the completion of a gameplay session, when the adrenaline prompted by the on-screen actions is likely still pumping. Researcher Simone Kuhn and her co-authors argue that the effects observed only for a few minutes after short sessions of video gaming are not representative of what society at large is actually interested in, namely how habitual violent video game play affects behavior on a more long-term basis, i.e., they don't actually cause violence. We know this. Like, we know this at this point. It doesn't cause violence. To correct for the priming effects inherent in these other studies, researchers had 90 adult participants play either Grand Theft Auto 5 or The Sims 3 for at least 30 minutes every day over 8 weeks. A control group played no games during the testing period. The adults chosen, ranging from 18 to 45 years old, reported little to no violent video gameplay in the previous 6 months and were screened for pre-existing psychological problems before the test. So that's good, trying to have like a clean slate to go in. No video game experience really in the last 6 months, like no hardcore Call of Duty sessions with your homies, and also, not being cray-cray. Understand. The participants were subjected to a wide battery of 52 established questionnaires intended to measure aggression, sexist attitudes, empathy, and interpersonal competencies, impulsivity-related constructs such as sensation-seeking, boredom-proneness, risk-taking, and delay discounting, mental health, depression, anxiety, as well as executive control functions. The tests were administered immediately before and immediately after the 2-month gameplay period, and also 2 months afterward, in order to measure the potential continuing effects. So this was not like something like, hey, how you feeling? Hans? Good. Did you kill people in Grand Theft Auto 5 today? I did, yeah. Okay. How are you feeling? I feel fine. Okay. Did you engage in any sexual activities with any prostitutes in Grand Theft Auto 5? I did, yes. I had sex with 2 of them. They were quite lovely. I tipped them extra at the end. Okay, so you didn't bash their heads in with a baseball bat or shoot them dead with a shotgun and take your money. No. I just engaged in sex with them, refilled my health, and went on with my killing rampage. Okay, that's basically like that kind of questionnaire is how I'm assuming things went down. Quite frankly, I think I'd get a little bit further into Hans's sexual proclivity with hookers in Grand Theft Auto 5, but then again, I've got some weird things I focus on. Anyway, over 208 separate comparisons, 52 tests, violent versus non-violent, and control groups pre versus post and 2 months later tests, only 3 subjects showed statistically significant effect of violent gameplay at a 95% confidence level. Pure chance would predict that more than 10 of the 208 comparisons would be significant at that level, leading researchers to conclude that there were no detrimental effects to violent video game play. Good. Can we put this everywhere? Can you send this to Jack Thompson, right? And just cram it down his freaking throat, or suppository it, whatever. I don't care what your kink is on that one. Send this to Anita Sarkeesian at the same time, because this is stuff that they need to know, right? Because if you can finally dispel the myth that video games don't cause violence, and video games don't cause sexism, and video games don't cause school shootings, maybe, just maybe, they'll go away. Probably not. They all want to get paid. As video games continue to be a convenient scapegoat for many politicians and critics in the wake of continuing school shootings, this new comprehensive study provides strong evidence against the frequently debated negative effects of playing violent video games. The results aren't all good news for gaming proponents, though. While other studies have found gameplay had a positive effect on executive control tasks like multitasking, this study found no such benefits. Well, I think that in part has to do with first-person shooter versus third-person shooter. Right. I think the way we approach is differently. I have no scientific basis to back that on. It's just kind of how I view it. First person, you're looking down the barrel of a gun. You're examining the world around you. You're focused on what is directly in front of you, and that becomes your target box. Whereas when you're playing a third person, you have camera control to scan the world around you, and therefore you are kind of not as engaged in what is directly in front of you. You have the ability for a 360 view, which can then, I think, lead to a different set of skills. You're not listening and then trying to pay attention where something is or see it in front of you. You have the ability for spatial awareness in its entirety, and that could have a different impact at all. It says here, while this is encouraging new direction for game research, it's not the final word on violent gaming effects. The authors acknowledge that future research is needed to demonstrate the absence of effects of violent video game play in children. On that score, the longitudinal study of 11,000 British youths from 2011 found playing electronic games was not associated with conduct problems for what it's worth. So they've tried this for years. They've tried to say that games are the problem. They tried for years to say that video games cause all these issues. We've been battling back against Anita Sarkeesian and her nonsense since 2012, since Jack Thompson and his nonsense since 2002 or 2002, somewhere in there. We've been battling back from Joe Lieberman and Tipper Gore from the early 90s. Hell, movie Bob Chipman has referred to that moment in time in the late 80s, early 90s as his own personal Vietnam when it comes to dealing with this kind of pushback against violent video games. The dude's my age. I'm in my mid-30s. It's the dumbest thing a person can say, but I understand the sentiment. It's still dumb, though. Dumb. But no, video games don't cause violence. Video games don't do anything like that. And people need to stop running on the narrative that they do. Hopefully, this will help more people realize that it's all about limiting your exposure to these games in terms of not letting it take over your life. But if you want to sit down, pop in Grand Theft Auto 5 or Grand Theft Auto Online and go around and blast the hell out of some digital NPCs, it's not going to make you pull a Randy Stare and go into your shopping center and kill everyone in a violent, shotgun-laden rage. It's not going to happen. Unfortunately, though, too many pundits out there make their money by claiming that it will. And every bit of information that counters that narrative is never enough to stop them. And I don't know why, and it's so damn frustrating. And hopefully one day we'll be able to put this debate to rest once and for all. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. If you haven't already, thumbs it up, hit on that subscribe, check out 3 Buck Theater, check out Mundane Chats, or if you just want to help support the channel, the best way to do that is patreon.com/mundanematt, link below in the video description. Thank you guys again, have yourself a great day, and peace out.